Well, hello and welcome back to another video. It's that time of the year when that very magical and mystical shrub, tree, call it what you will, the elder, comes into flower. And I thought, done this before, I've watched my granny do this, I thought I'd make some elderflower cordial. Very easy to make. And so, what do we got? We've got 1.5 or 1.5 litres of water coming up to the boil on the lovely vintage little baby belling from 1960 there. We've got a large mixing bowl that's heat proof, that can stand boiling water, and that's a Parex mixing bowl. We've got 3 lemons, or if they're smallish lemons you can put 4 in, and this is just purely the zest of the lemons. You will need the juice, we'll need the juice tomorrow, so I've juiced them and put the juice in the fridge, so we have to keep the juice as well. This is just the zest. I mean, you don't want any of the white pithy bits, that can make it go a bit bitter sometimes, so purely they want to be unwaxed lemons as well. And then we've got down here, we've got our elderflowers. Now I've just literally been out on my bike and picked these. Now naturally, like everything, I suppose you could loosely call this foraging. Pick anything that you're going to consume from an area that hasn't had a lot of traffic or any pollutants, or you might think have been touched by farm sprays. These come from a very isolated track where I know nothing has touched them, and I've had them on this tea towel out here a few minutes after I brought them back in my carrier bag on my bike, and they've just been here because I wanted to let any insects the chance to get away. Obviously, although we shall strain this mixture, we don't really want, it's nice to let the insects get away. So that's what we do basically. We take our bowl and we just take the flowers off. You don't want the stalky bits, the green, that can make it bitter again. And that's it. You just basically pick the flowers off, off the stalks. I mean, it doesn't matter if a few go in like that one. That doesn't too matter at all. And for this amount that we're doing, it's not a huge quantity. You want maybe 20 flower heads, a few more if they're small, depending on the size really, probably 20 to 30. And as I say, you just pick the flowers off like that. And I'll continue on doing this and come back when I've got that done, because I'm sure this is a bit like watching paint dry, watching somebody picking elderflowers off a stem. So we've now plucked all those flowers off. Hopefully you can see that. We know there might be just a tiny bit of stalk which you can go through. I mean, I shouldn't worry about some of the very, very small bits. And then we can put our zest of our 3 grated lemons into that as well, like so. Just mix it about a bit. And then we've got our water that's boiling away here, and we can put our 1.5 litres of boiling water on top of that lot. Just there's a few bits of lemon in. Mine are quite very small lemons, but I think they'll be still enough. And there we go. So now I should take that into the kitchen and it'll stand overnight infusing. It is best to cover it over with some a clean tea towel, say, just to keep anything from going in it, and then we can continue on with this tomorrow. Obviously this will be one video, so you won't see that, but this is the first day. We've got our infusion there, our boiling water, our elderflowers and our lemons, and we'll continue on tomorrow. So it's now the next day, 24 hours has passed, and we've let elderflowers and lemon zest in our 1.5 litres of water sort of all fuse in overnight, and we're now ready to strain that back into our saucepan. So see if we can do that without spilling any. And then you might want to just push that, get all the liquid you can out that, because it does, the flowers do hold a bit of liquid. You can just squeeze that. You don't want to waste any. Right, I really think that is it. So we don't want that. That can go in the composting bin. And then we'll take this onto our stove and continue on with it. So we've got our pan on the stove and we're going to put the heat on. The first thing we do is add the lemon juice that we saved from yesterday of the lemons that we zested. So that goes in. So there's our lemon juice in. I then put two level it's just a tablespoon, let's say a tablespoon of citric acid. You can buy this from most supermarkets. That helps give it a little bit longer shelf life. We'll come on to that in a little bit. Then obviously, stir that round, stir that all in. In the oven, I've got my bottles sterilising on roughly about 140 degrees, and they're going to be in there at least 30 minutes to sterilise the bottles. The stoppers, as I've got like clasp neck stoppers, I'm going to put a pan of some boiling water on and boil those so they are also sterilised. Obviously you have to make sure that anything you're bottling or preserving is well sterilised. So they're going in. The stoppers, they have already been on a really hot wash in the dishwasher, the bottles. So we'll put those on in a minute. And our heat's now on. And then what we can do is our 1 kilo, seems an awful lot, but it is a cordial. Our 1 kilo of granulated sugar can then go into our cordial mixture with our lemons, lemon juice and the citric acid. There we go. And then it's just a question of dissolving that granulated sugar and bringing this up to the boil. And we'll cut back in, obviously, when we're getting closer, so our mixture now, with all the ingredients now in, has come up to the boil, and now we've turned it down and we'll simmer it for around about 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, say. It's quite interesting. This would have a shelf life. I mean, some people keep their bottles in the fridge, but putting the citric acid in it and doing it this way, it should really have a stored shelf life outside the fridge for 3 to 4 months. Some people even say 6 months. You could go on, when you've got it in your bottles, and we'll have a look at it when I put it in the bottles, you could stand your bottles if you've got a really, I don't think I've got a big enough pan to do that. You could stand your bottles, put a tea towel, an old, or clean tea towel, in the bottom of the pan, then fill it right to the top of the neck of the bottles, and obviously bring that water to the boil and keep it boiling for sort of, I think, anywhere between 10 and 20 minutes, and that would actually pasteurize the cordial, the elderflower cordial, and obviously give it a longer, I mean, I've known people say that they can keep it a year then, but that's whether you want to do that or not. You need a jolly big pan really to stand your bottles in and be able to do that. And I wouldn't be worried about keeping it that length of time, to be honest. The stoppers have been boiling on a good rolling boil now they're coming up they've been boiling for 10 minutes, and we shall stand those off in a minute or two and let them cool in the boiling water. I've also got the jug. I've got a Parex jug that I'm going to decant this out of. That's also sterilising in the oven, as I say, on 140C with my bottles. I've only got relatively small little bottles. And you might say, well, what do you do with this cordial? Well, you can drink it as a drink. It's great mixed with lemonade. And you can put it in cakes. You can do all sorts of things. If you're unsure, just have a look online at what you can do with elderflower cordial. So our cordial has now simmered for a good 10 minutes after bringing it up to the boil. So what we'll do next, we'll get our act together and get our bottles out. They've had a good 30 minutes sterilising in the oven at 140C. Our stoppers have been boil sterilised for about 15 to 20 minutes. They're cooling down there. And our next thing is to bottle this up now. And I'm just waiting for everything to cook. We'll bring it all together and then we'll put some in a bottle. So there we go, our bottles are sterilised. Our jug has been sterilised. It's just a matter now of pouring our cordial from our saucepan into our bottles. There we go. I made a bit of a mess there, but never mind. The bottles are incredibly hot, so do be careful. Glass obviously retains the heat for some time. Ooh, put a bit too much in that, I think, perhaps. So there we go. There's our elderflower cordial all bottled up. I shall just let them, got the stoppers on, I shall just let them cool down there naturally, then wipe the bottles over because I tended to slop it everywhere. Like I say, you could go on and put those in a pan and boil them up for another period of time, but I'm not going to do that. I think, you know, there's a small pan I've got, the bottles may touch, and I think boiling, there's a good chance that those bottles might touch each other and rattle about and tend to crack with the heat. I think one of the bottles I'd got had got a flaw in it, and it has actually cracked in the oven. So it just goes to show they can, you know, you've got to look at your bottles very carefully. These bottles were bought brand new to do this. They are Kilner bottles. They are, you know, purely designed for preserving liquids. But as I say, sadly, one of mine had it didn't actually break, it just cracked. So anyway, as always, thank you for watching, and I hope you've liked this little bit different video, and please like, comment, subscribe, and as always, I thank you very much for watching this video, and I hope your garden grows well, and please do come back for future videos, and until then, until my next video, my best wishes and good gardening, and bye for now.